It does not get more peak spreadshirt virgin than having advanced analytics stats on your t-shirt. This is peak baseball season, man. I can almost smell the pine tar. 2 more days here. We're gonna start macro, hit a good reset. It'll be a good reset for Nez and I too, because we haven't done dailies in a minute, and we joked about it. We joked that, hey, everybody's going to be passing on Ellie De La Cruz because of the projections and all this sort of stuff. And he's going to be the 101 when we go for the first day of baseball season. And sure as shit, that's exactly what's happening. And it's just an evergreen reminder of like the way in which we view the daily lens is so different than the season long lens. So it's going to be a lot of fun here. But we're gonna take a step back, talk some macro strategies. Hopefully, some of you who are playing, just football stuff or just NBA stuff right now can find some love for the baseball dailies, because they are truly one of a kind and they're the best. They are the best if you want to put in some time on this platform.
Yeah, and this is hello everybody. By the way, this is like we're ushering in like a brand new era in MLB dailies, because this is going to be the most like volume any one person can ever put down in baseball dailies. Like these contests are going to be big. As far as the main slate goes, right? You think it'll probably be like 135 or 150 plus
Yep.
all the side contests. You're going to be able to put down a lot of volume, and that was hard to do last year. And part of like it really affected my strategy, and I think that's going to really affect my strategy this season, depending on the number of entries I can get down, because I'm gonna max like every day.
I love
We're
it,
going
man.
in,
I
man.
love it.
This is where it's at.
Oh, maxing every day with larger available entries is also going to change our strategy this year too, because we were very hand builder bros when baseball started on this platform. It was like 16 max entries, and it was like, man, we really got to think through our exposures to how we want to get what stacks or what part of stacks we really want. Now with 150, like, you're going to be doing a little bit more portfolio management, like a la NBA side, but doing it, with correlation here.
Exactly. Like that's gonna be. I'm sort of I am in the process of like writing like my first post for Nest Takes, and that's like a breakdown of like my strategy, and that's one of the things is like portfolio management versus like exposure management versus construction management, but it all kind of ties back into the portfolio management, which like you really like you can conceivably get to every team on the slate and try to like cover your bases in some form or fashion in a way that doesn't like completely kill, say you only have time for like 60 entries or that's all there is. You really are being way more protective of what you do with those entries rather than just wasting them on plays that you don't like.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And if there's ever a sport that the contrarian plays can go furthest, it's this sport.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So there are very sharp ways to play, even if you are a low volume player. But shout out to the low volume players, man. Last night, our guy Run Good Rick, aka the Kiwi Cat, love to see it. Took down the NBA contest. Jordan was a close runner up there. Always hanging out in the Discord as well. But love to see the little guys get home with only 24 entries.
That's great for the ecosystem. It's great to inspire hope in people to get in there. It's still fun either way. But yeah, man, that was a huge bank for Kiwi Cat. Shout out to him. Love to see it.
Yeah, love it so much. And I think I saw Sam Olsen get home and Crutches get home last night as well in some side contests. So big shouts to the community as always. Let's roll that on over into the baseball streets. Nez, I got some notes here as to just, our macro strat stuff. But my man, what is the 101 of baseball dailies?
Got to start with the weather.
Always with the weather. It is different than any other sport in that regard. Is, guys could be drafting all day long without looking at the weather, and they'll be drafting a game that is 85% chance going to be a rain out or something like that. And there's a huge edge in that, let alone if there's a huge edge in, wind blowing out and good hitting conditions, good pitching conditions. That's like the next evolution of it. But the 101 is make sure the guys that you're drafting are actually going to play baseball today.
Yeah, we do have like a very forgiving swap system, but if the game starts obviously and then there's a delay and they don't finish, then you're shit out of luck. Or they delay the game so long that you don't have any viable swaps, that also sucks as well. So I mean, you can sort of like weigh your risk versus reward on something like that, but I think in that same vein, we do get a little scared in a bad way sometimes with the weather. Like there are
Mhm.
a lot of times where we're fading weather and that game plays and that game also smashes where you kind of get some leverage from the field there if everybody's avoiding it. But I'm still checking and I'm still like being cautious when I see games are, per Kevin Roth, like a yellow orange or something like that.
Yeah, like we'll get to that in, dog days of summer here, late July, early August, where misty rain, one of my favorites, misty rain, actually a good thing when you're in Atlanta or you're in Coors because it means it's warm enough for the ball to travel, but the rain's not hard enough for the game to be canceled. It's actually a positive, but that's some really, really micro niche example.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless, you gotta be aware of the weather.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up the 102 right now, and oh shoot, wrong one. And that's neztakes.com. Nez does his own rankings. I'm not gonna hold it to him that he's gonna do it every single day, but Nez, most days through the MLB season, he will put up some of his thoughts and some of his stuff right here. So neztakes.com is the 102 of that. Anything else you want to say on Nez Takes, Nez?
I know, just like a hilarious looking website right now with
It
like
is.
the cutoff of like week 3. Like actually, like writing up NFL is just too nuanced and everything changes by Sunday morning, and so this is fucking pointless. No, we're gonna get this thing up in shape. It's probably gonna be still pretty straightforward, but yeah. Anyways, yep, I will be having posts here. Thank you for those kind words, John. But yeah, this is always a fun exercise for me.
Yeah, pour one out for the clubhouse, Numi's clubhouse. Now that he's on the inside, won't be doing it. But Numi used to do a great grouping of stacks versus hitters or versus pitchers and what were good green matchups, red matchups, orange matchups. It was great stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. The
Um,
ma- the Matrix was undefeated.
mhm. The other one, this is becoming less important, but this used to be a huge edge in the early days of Underdog. Was you basically you didn't have the lineup and the order spots built into the app, so those who were projecting lineups and getting ahead of them first obviously had a distinct edge. Now we have some probable lineups that get funneled in there, and then Underdog does the same thing as they do with hoops. So turn on your push notifications for the MLB account here, and they will tweet out the lineup and the starting pitchers, any scratches, any changes. So we've had a couple official games there, and they will literally just tweet this out. Those are kind of hit or miss. It's a little bit better than NBA, but generally speaking, an hour with an asterisk prior to first pitch.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. You can anticipate
Mhm.
some teams will make you sweat it out, but others will
Yeah.
will get that thing out like right away, which is always hilarious and always great. But yeah, I do pay attention to this because this kind of helps you figure out what kind of. I mean, we can sort of project most of the time like these who's going to play in a lineup, but we don't always
Mhm.
know the order. So knowing that is a big help. But I think one thing that you can do with an early game, like just thinking about lineups, if you want to like utilize a swap, like if you're trying to build a swap into your lineup, taking a player like my boy Matt Wallner against a lefty where like you don't anticipate him playing or something like that, like where
Mhm.
a guy is like very very unlikely to be in that lineup, and then you can have that open for like a swap just sort of like built in, like you can it won't I think you can actually do that too once you get the lineups out. I don't think they'll actually mark a player as out unless it's like like a star or something. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's a next level advanced metric of potential
Too gal
swappability
brain,
there.
too gal brain
Yeah,
too
well,
early. Okay.
no, 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 it's good stuff. It's good stuff. But like stuff to be cognizant of will be like backup catchers and stuff like that. We always talk about the Wednesday slates as getaway days where, you're most likely going to see the backup catcher or, as you alluded to, the righty lefty splits there where you can kind of get ahead of someone will be drafting Wallner all day because he homered twice last night. Well, he's probably going to sit if it's a lefty the following day kind of deal. So
Right.
there's little bits of leverage in that. One more that I wanted to add was just overall with the lineup, and we'll do a lot of projecting lineup when we walk through these slates on a daily, is because the correlation patterns matter so much more. And we can bring up charts and we can bring up stuff like that. But like, if you're hitting towards the top of the order on a given day, like that's an extra, 0.3 at bats compared to someone else. So as the lineup rolls over, and if you're hitting in like the 2-3 spot, you're more correlated with the 5-6 hitter than is like Bogarts in this example with Profar in the fifth hole. It's going to be pretty hard for him to drive, not impossible, but pretty hard for him to drive him in. So just those minute correlation, because one big overarching point that I'll just make that's completely different about baseball than any other sport is correlation is uncapped, right? In football, if we stack the Bengals offense, they literally would need to score 7, 8, 9 touchdowns like Miami did in week 5 or 6 last year to break a slate, right? That's why so many times when you were winning in the BR slates, it would be one-offs and one skinny stack and that sort of thing, because you have to be perfect. In baseball, especially on a 12-game slate like this, you don't have to be perfect, because one team can score 18 runs and outscore the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Padres combined, or whoever the chalk is. So it's just something to be mindful that correlation uncapped.
Yep, and highly, suggested to utilize, which I think most people know watching this. But like, you want to stack, and there's, we'll get into the different ways to do that. But it is like, if you don't have to stack every single time, but like I'm talking like 95, 97% of the time, like you want some correlation in that lineup. I mean, probably even more than that, to be honest, if we're putting a number on it.
Yeah, Chipsy bringing up here that that just Brett crawled so few could walk so that we could all run, and that's a reference to basically 5-man stacks becoming a little bit of a meta last year. But there are some rules to it. You cannot have, so these rosters all have 6 spots. You cannot have 6 from the same team, so you cannot correlate your pitcher with that. So people will do cheeky things. They'll do a 4-person stack with the starting pitcher, because wins and quality starts mean so much on this platform. And if the bats are going well, that's more likely to get, that pitcher, that quality start, right? So guys will do, a cheeky stack of 4 hitters plus a pitcher and then a one-off, or they'll do 5 hitters plus a one-off at the pitcher position, blah, blah, blah. So just talking through all sorts of stack types there.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it a number of ways, like you just said. I think construction wise, like there's no like best one, but yeah, it's something that I'm doing like every time. When I'm auto drafting though, I think I'm more so leaning towards like a one team stack. It's kind of like what I'm figuring out, what works best for me at least.
Yeah, and because of that, guys, I would just say that the GMs that you see in football and stuff like that get canceled, they don't get canceled in baseball because it's all fair game. It's a binary outcome scoring system. Ronald Acuna can be paired with Shohei Ohtani, and they can both go 0 for 4 on a given day. Whereas Christian McCaffrey paired with Tyreek Hill, well, they're both not going to get injured in the first quarter, and they're both going to have a mean projection that's significantly greater than everything else. In baseball, man, because of the way scoring system works, it is all fair game. If I'm in a lobby for the BadgeBros Brawl and it's me, Nez, and Neumy drafting in there, and I make the decision that I'm just going to onslaught stack the Oakland A's, and I'm just going to take hitters 1 through 5 on Oakland and take the ace of the slate, that's fair game, man. So you have to be really cognizant of what's going on in your lobbies, because there's times to pick and choose when you build a GM or when you build a onslaught stack or a 2 stack, a 3 stack, blah, blah, blah. And it's largely predicated on what the other people in your lobby are doing in terms of building their own stacks.
Right. Like, for example, with that BadgeBros Brawl that you mentioned, last year we would have sometimes these 3-person drafts, and one of the ones that I took down, it was just literally just a GM of like all GMs. It had
Mhm.
it was loaded. It had like Tatis, Aaron Judge, I think Betts or Otani. Like it was like the three like best outfielders like on the slate were on
Yeah.
that team. But that's just because people do crazy shit in there. And,
Mhm.
and you know, there's that way you could. I mean, in that contest, you can really incorporate that sort of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's all fair game, man. Like you said, like you played these enough, you're not surprised by anything.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Nez, any other kind of like macro level stuff? We talked about the weather, we talked about kind of like the value of stacks. Maybe the double bubble. We always talk about the double bubble and
Yeah.
the leverage
Oh,
that's created. I will bring up ADP for that one. Um, there we go. So you'll hear us talk about double bubble leverage and stuff like this, and that's just kind of like the known notion that a pitcher who's in the top six, more importantly, kind of like the top three, is going to be
mhm.
drafted at 100% frequency, which means they're going to be owned at 16.3% over the course of the entirety of the contest. So for us to introduce leverage against the field, we would stack the opposition of Shane Bieber in this case. So if Shane Bieber is going first overall or first as a pitcher over and over again, we could instantly knock off a sixth of the field by just stacking the A's because those results are positively correlated for the hitters in terms of like, scoring runs against the pitcher.
Yep, and I love this first double bubble opportunity that we have here with Bieber against the A's. I think it's so perfect because I think I'm not the biggest Bieber guy, and I love me some pesky A's. They're not quite pesky yet. They're fighting to be pesky, and
Yeah.
and nobody is gonna want to get to the A's. So you have a
Mhm.
pitcher that I think is overrated with a team that maybe is not underrated, but a team nobody wants to get to. Like you bet your ass I'm gonna have some Ryan Noda on this slate, man.
Oh,
Like
baby.
you little Brent Rooker here. Like
Yep.
like I could smell the upset. It's
A
happening.
little JJ Bleday hitting fifth.
My acid reflux
Too
is
far. Too
acting up.
far. I went too far with it. Oh man, yeah. So the chat, some of the guys who've been around the block and been in these contests for a long time. Pitcher doesn't matter, never pitcher, blah blah blah. And it's correct until it's not, because if there's a
Yeah.
pitcher like Strider on the slate who quote unquote breaks the slate, it has to be a very specific um outcome of results. It would have to most likely be a 4 or 5 game slate, not a 12-1. It would have to be he throws 8 innings, gets a quality start, gets a win, and gets 10 Ks, and nobody else on the slate homers twice to break it. So there are instances where pitcher matters, but there are far, far more, Nez, where pitcher does not matter on our platform because you can't score an abundance of negative points. And we are looking for basically K upside, wins, and quality start upside.
Yeah, I think the motto is just like pitcher can't win you a slate, but it can like certainly lose you one. Because
Yeah, well said.
if your pitcher bombs, like your pitcher bombs, man. And
Mhm.
there's really no coming back from them. I think I can remember one time, which I mean is probably like more than there should be, a time where somebody had like a 0, and then maybe it wasn't even that pitcher, probably wasn't, but someone had a 0. I know for sure that took down a main slate last
Mhm.
year at one point. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah, like Sam's alluding here, like dudes will have Jose Arena at pitcher and they'll take down a daily slate. And it's
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, it's
yeah.
100%. And it's just the 101 rule of that is just don't stack against yourself. If you're going to punt pitcher, just make sure it's someone else in the other game, because maybe on a 4 game slate, you can introduce some weird gal brain stuff where you'll stack against your own starter, but not on these main slates. The most basic benchmark rule is don't stack against your own starter.
Exactly. Yeah. That just there's no point in threading that needle.
Mm-hmm. The I just wanted to bring up the roster for a second, because you will notice, maybe not on a 12 gamer like we have for opening day or a 15 gamer for the early slate on opening day, but outfield will get thin in a hurry, and some of the positional designations will take a couple days to catch up. So, for instance, Wyatt Langford is not in the player pool. yet, but when he is, he'll be listed as an outfielder, obviously. But just be mindful of this, that like outfield remains kind of just evergreen, that it remains thin, similar to the dingers. But 2 outfielders, 2 infielders, and then the flex can be either or.
Yep. Yeah. It's like you said, outfield really does get thin in a hurry on these. It's just like best ball.
Yep. And then the last one I wanted to say, we kept saying quality start and win when talking about pitching. It's because there is a boost to wins and quality starts. So you will get, once the games have completed, you'll get an added 5 points if your starter went 6 innings and gave up less than 3 runs, and if he got the win after. So that added 5 points is pretty significant because that's the equivalent of 5 Ks or 5 innings pitched added to that. So good teams, good pitchers with high offensive implied run totals in their favor can do a world of good for you, even if they aren't like the best pitcher in the world. Like, let's use Ronaldo Lopez for the Braves as an example. He'll probably be their 4th or 5th starter, but like he could provide dividends in our format more so than, potentially, I don't know, insert Merrill Kelly going against the Dodgers, who we all think Merrill Kelly's a better pitcher. We all drafted him in the dinger to be a better pitcher, but just because of those given matchups, probably lean the way of Ronaldo Lopez.
I mean, I'm not going to go and give my stamp of approval to Reynaldo Lopez like that, but the point remains. The point remains. Yeah, it's very important. And if you happen to find yourself in a sweat in a battle royale and you're waiting on a game to end, and you have a pitcher or you're sweating a pitcher that has not yet been awarded that win and quality start, you gotta be careful when you start celebrating, because those two get added at different times. So you're gonna see the win or one of them hit first, and then you may think you're safe. You got the stat correction out of the way. There's one more coming. Let me tell you, I know from experience, it sucks. So you gotta let those things hit, and they can. Yeah, it's funny, man. They don't matter until they do. It's so true.
Yeah. 2 other macro ones I just want to talk about, Nez, was the recency bias thing. You will see it every single day, day over day. A guy homers twice, or he goes a homer and a steal. He scores 20 fantasy points the other day, and then the following day he's thrust up in ADP inside the top 20, regardless of who that player is. It happens over and over again on our site. These things are not correlated. Every single day is an isolated, independent event. Maybe there's a little bit of carryover because he's still playing in a good park, or he's playing against a diminished bullpen or something like that. But these are independent events, and the quote unquote he was hot and he was hot yesterday is not something we should be overly aping into.
No, it's fun, but you got to watch out. You got to watch out. You always have to be cognizant of the matchup. I think if we were to give like a quote unquote like real 102, I mean, I guess like you mentioned, the site, of course, but like it is like those pitching matchups. It's who's on the bump, who's throwing, and just as important as like who you're wanting to avoid is very important of who you want to attack. In the same way that you are making that pitcher comparison, it's the same thing with the bats. Like if Oakland is facing a very bad pitcher, they're in consideration for us.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And the last one, Nez, I want to talk about was the handedness and the splits. We can fall victim by not knowing who our reverse splits guys are, right? So one of my favorite examples is always Aaron Judge. We have a large enough lifetime sample now that despite being right-handed, for whatever reason, he's a better hitter against right-handed pitching than he is at left-handed pitching. It's one of my favorite reverse splits guys to talk about. So just make sure that when we're talking, as Neumy brings up in the chat here, the lefty killers, this is one of our favorite segments, our favorite whatever, the Harold Ramirez, the Jake Bergers, the Patrick Wisdoms, the guys that see these huge boosts in daily projections based on the handedness of the pitcher. Don't wrongfully apply it. Make sure we know who those guys actually are when we're diving into splits.
Yeah, and you'll know when it's like I don't know if Austin Slater still has a job, but when it's Austin Slater day or things like that, or maybe Edward Olivares day for the Pirates, you'll definitely be made aware.
Mm-hmm. And this is a fair point too. Reverse splits are not real. Nothing's real. Nothing matters. Draft A's. Nez, what do you say we just hop in a Badge Bros Brawl here and rip the scroll the F down variety right off the hop?
Let's get it, man. This is gonna be fun. Little 3-person contest. The combinations are gonna be wild.
Yeah. I want to do this. Ooh, all these purple in the lobby.
Whoa.
We'll do one, then we'll kind of like talk through the actual slate, but I just wanted to like do one right away. Who's your 101 in the Badge Bros Brawl, Nez?
It varies. It varies. I'm not gonna just flat out say Ellie De La Cruz, but Ellie De La Cruz being the like consensus. Well, not the consensus, but he's the 101 man. And it's kind of hard to not want to take him in right here, 101. I mean, this is it's hard to ask for a better spot for Ellie at his home park against Josiah Gray. I guess I should check the weather. Have you done any proactive weather checking?
Yeah, Roth doesn't have anything up yet, but I know that Philadelphia, that's my big nugget. Philadelphia looks really bad.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The 10 days calling for it?
Philadelphia was looking to move opening day to the Friday, I believe. All right.
They're going to play.
With the first daily pick of the season, Ellie De La Cruz. That felt good.
I'll wear it. It's fine. It's fine, guys.
Oh, man.
Not mad, not upset.
We are going to do some absolute scrolling in this contest here. Noteworthy that like the I had it pulled up here. I don't want to butcher it now. The Braves, the Twins, now I don't even have it. Let me see. The Angels, the O's, the Brewers, the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves are the 3 games and 6 teams that are not on the slate. Should we do an Ohtani Freeman and then scroll the F down?
You don't want to try to find like somebody better? You don't want to try to find better baseball players? You want 2 of some of the best? All right.
Yeah. We're doing something chalky to start here, and then we are going to scroll.
Oh, yeah. Got to scroll here. It's only right.
I'm going to ask you, Nez, for your first scroll of the season, who are you enamored with as your scroll?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I'm like having trouble staying away from Hayes, man. Undrafted against Luzardo. Oh man, you know I'm excited about that. Let's make this pick here. Let's see. You want to scroll?
Yeah, unless you want to do Jordan Tucker.
It's so fun. It's right there. It's like, how do you not? All right, let's do a one-off here. I'm trying to think of some stacks I've done. I love Abrams. I think the Cubs are like sneaky. If you want to do like Bellinger.
No, you know who I want to do.
Oh, the other Cub. Yeah, the good Cub.
All right, we got our scroll in there. A non-drafted 0 ADP guy.
You know what's ironic? Morel. Is Morel has the infield tag in dailies and Bellinger has the outfield tag.
Yeah, right. It's funny that's what I was alluding to. I should have articulated it better with when we were talking about the positional designation thing, because you do have to be mindful that it is different than what we're accustomed to so far in the Dinger.
Yeah.
Nez, who do you like as the second starting pitcher here? Skubal went there, Bieber went there. Do the Glasnow one.
I've been doing Gallon.
Gallon versus Colorado at home. All right.
And I like Reagan's too because the Twins strike out a lot.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, well, my draft. We're doing our Seattle boy.
I like him too. Castillo feels good at his home park against the Red Sox.
First draft of the season. We got 1 mini stack in there and then 3 one-offs. Not financial advice. The team that probably takes this down is going to be a 5-man contrarian or a 2-man hits the nuts plus a 3-man, something like that. but just shows you the flexibility of roster construction and like how you can kind of just go anywhere and build.
You can truly, to an extent, do
Mhm.
whatever you want. Like it's
Yeah.
so real.
Noah asking about weather. I mean, the Roto Grinders weather page, like just MLB here, and then he has like a paid subscription that's Weather Edge that just tells you like, the benefits of certain days at certain ballparks, like wind blowing out at Kansas City or humid temperatures in Kansas City. But yeah, man, a lot of it's just knowing your ballparks, right? And knowing the ballpark factor associated with so many of these, right? But this is kind of like the best free resource is here, and then Kevin Roth on Twitter as well. He'll always tweet out like kind of like the graphics of rain passing by a stadium, blah blah blah.
Yeah, good, really good follow on Twitter, and I always check here. This is where I start, and I'll post like a screen grab and credit him, of course, of like what his like synopsis is of the day as well. Yeah, this is like when we say check weather, like it's here. It's like more specifically, it's here.
Yeah. I'm looking at main slate here. Yeah, Julian's asking, are there going to be single entry and three max semi high dollar, blah blah blah. Well, there's the big fly right now, which is single entry. I'll go back here. So that one, we have done stuff in the past. What was the double entry called? Not big fly. It was called
It's a double play.
yeah, double play. Yeah, there was a double play that was $25, two entry, something like that. And then the cycle is the 12-person one that you'll see all the time. BadgeBros Brawl is the 3-person one, and then the three bagger will always be kind of like the main slate, and that'll fluctuate names each day. Turn 2 Tuesdays, three bagger Thursday, yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I like that we get like our own little buzzer beater there with the sack fly too. That's a fun one. Um,
Hmm.
I think if we could, I don't know that we could fill a full size like crossover style baseball. I don't know if there's that much money like for on there for baseball, but I think a crossover style, aka like a 5 entry max of like $30, and this could be like a different price and different price points and whatnot. But it's a 5 entry max at $30, and it's like an 8K tournament. I think
Yeah.
something to that extent would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I fully agree with you because baseball truly is a manual draft game, and you don't want like just 5-man onslaught auto drafts being like the meta every single day and guys trying to dupe each other with that stuff. So some of these like limited entry, like 2 entry, 3 entry, 5 max ones kind of alleviate some of that stuff. I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are no late swaps. There's late swap, like not in the traditional way you think of it on like DFS platforms. There's late swap in terms of if a guy gets scratched from your lineup or a guy's not in the lineup that given day, then there's the ability to set your own rankings and have a player swapped in as the next window of time for the games start. But there's no like, hey, I got 30 points in the bank in the first 3 games. Let me change out my last 2 outfielders. There's none of that.
Yeah, well said.
Sam, thanks for joining up, my friend.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, I think I saw 2. We get members overnight sometimes, and I saw 2, and I meant to write them down because they're not in our chat right now. But I saw 2 other members join up early, so much appreciated. Nice. We'll be carrying on exactly what we were doing with NBA, but just with baseball as soon as this stuff kicks up. And these prize pools are going to be meaningful this year.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun, man. And if you missed last night, did my last dinger draft behind the paywall. If you want to check that out, John joined me there at the end. It was a good time. It was sad, it was solemn, but it was a good farewell to the dinger draft season.
Yeah, I haven't been doing the daily ones yet because I'm trying to get my dingers under my belt. So I'm at 83 right now. And then I think the contest is at like 97-ish%. So please don't fill it while we're streaming because I still want to get like 4 or 5. I want to get 10 in before I go play puck tonight. So that's my goal, is to get 10. So I'll be filling dinger lobbies the remainder of the day here. And I refuse to auto draft my dingers, Nez. I did that last year at the
Ew.
buzzer to help try and fill it, and it was not fun.
Ew. No, you
Yeah.
can't do that, man. No way. It's at 98%. I think there's roughly like like a little over 100, like maybe like 150 drafts left.
GA, don't put this past me, man. I did 10 last night. I'm coming. I'm coming for this. I was doing 4 at a time, buddy.
That's insane. I've been crushing the dailies.
Nice. Good. Okay, well, let's walk through before there's no lineups and stuff like that left. So or up and that sort of thing. We could speculate. Opening day is pretty easy to kind of like guess lineups based on the handedness and just using roster resource on Fangraphs there. But it's shaping up to be chalky Reds at home because of Great American Small Park versus Josiah Gray. Then Dodgers because Dodgers will pop every single day at the top, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then where are we going from there, Nez?
Yeah, you mentioned those two off the top. Let me just get
Arizona will be the other one too.
Yep.
Versus Colorado versus Kyle Freeland.
Yeah, those are going to be big time targets. You can see Marte and Walker being in like the top 20 in ADP, so you know they're going to be drafted a lot. I mean, even if they're not taken every time, they're going to be taken most of the time, just being where they are. Let me pull up the schedule here so I can be reminded of some of the chalk spots. You know, kind of like the Astros here against the Yankees. I mean, we've been drafting Nestor Cortez. He's been like a nice late round option in the dingers. I think as far as like favorable spots go on the slate, Astros at home against Nestor has me licking my chops a little bit.
Yeah, Jordan, a guy who hits lefties well. Same with Tucker. They both hit lefties well last year, so not entirely scared of the fact that he's left-handed to neutralize those two there. But yeah, I like that shout for sure. They have a 8.5 implied total, which is like game total, which is slightly higher than some of these other ones that are like 6.5 on this given slate.
Yeah, I mean, just as far as the pitching matchups go, I think Eflin is one of the, worst starters on here. Not that he's like bad in reality, but it's definitely up there as far as pitchers I want to target. So, and I think on the flip side, I guess on the other Texas team, they're the Rangers. I like the Cubs against Eovaldi too. I think this is a low key, pretty decent spot, a little sneaky spot for the Cubs right now based on their ADP. I like the way that the top 2/3 of this Cubs lineup comes together, and it looks to be pretty low owned right now. This looks like a pretty decent stack here. For this slate.
What do you think the Cubs will run out on Thursday? Do you think it's Horner, then what? Happ, or Happ then Horner?
I hope they don't do the Talkman thing at leadoff. I can't imagine they will. I think right now roster resource, and I think they're right. Happ lead off, Suzuki, Bellinger, Morel. Get a little left, right, left, and then
interesting. And Nico buried down a little bit further. Swanson, then Nico, Horner.
Yeah, they've got Michael Busch actually. So they go Morel cleanup, Swanson, and then Busch, Horner. Which I don't know about that. I guess if they want to do the staggering, sure. Nico Horner, I think, is definitely like the most in flux here, but I kind of agree with like the Happ, Suzuki, Bellinger top 3.
There is a non-zero chance Michael Busch starts on the IL, is there not? Did I misread that? I thought I saw something.
I think you might be right. Let me see here.
Anyways, just keep an eye open for that because Cubs are one of those lineups that
I'm not drafting Michael Busch. I'm just saying.
No, sure. No. I just mean like in terms of formulating like strength of lineup, Cubs are one of the ones that I would be most skittish on knowing what they're going to run out. Like Atlanta, I could tell you their lineup like right now, like 100%, because they basically ran out the same lineup 100 times last year when Sean Murphy was healthy. You can speculate who's going to lead off for the Yankees, whether with DJ LeMahieu out, it's going to be either Torres or Volpe, something like that. But yeah, there's just certain spots you can speculate, and I think Cubs is one you can speculate.
Yeah, definitely want to be careful there. Don't want to get burned stacking like a, not that it's like the worst thing in the world, but you definitely want to make your stacks matter and have them as close together in the lineup as possible, like you mentioned earlier.
Any love for the Tigers? I'm kind of like looking at some of the pitchers for opening day. It's like opening day is always an abnormal slate because it's going to be a lot harder to get quality starts early in the season because a lot of these starting pitchers are going to have a way shorter leash. So it's a slate that I like to chase K upside primarily. And then from the hitter's perspective, there are so many good pitchers going that consolidating contrarians or consolidating chalky stacks is way more dense, even though it's a 12 game slate, because everybody can look and be like, oh, yeah, I don't want to face, so and so who's actually like nobody wants to stack the Cardinals versus Glasnow when they could stack, Tigers versus Garrett Crochet or whatever.
Exactly. And you see that in the other two slates as well when you have Strider on, in that pool for the early and the all day. Everybody wants Strider and nobody wants Phillies. I think the Phillies are like a really fun place to go for those ones just because of that fact. I mean, you've got Harper and Schwarber against, a Strider who does give up a lot of home runs because he throws so damn hard. So he does give up a lot of hard contact. You mentioned, I just want to throw that out there because that's like one of my like most fun things to do in those other slates is to get to the Phillies against Strider. It's like no one wants to do that.
Yeah, that's on the 15 game slate, not on the main slate.
Yeah, and in the early only as well. And there's like 4 different slates.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah, just want to throw that out there. That Tigers game, I am interested to see like what that lineup looks like because Crochet's a lefty. So I am curious like who we get and where they bat. Obviously, Riley Green and Torkelson, like no issues there as far as like who we like. You don't really, I mean, that's obvious, but like is Kerry Carpenter in the lineup? Where does he hit? Do we even want him against the lefty, even if he is in there? Is Parker Meadows lead off? Do we want a little sneaky bit of him or not? So this is a lineup I think that's a little in flux too, and we'll get it early, which is nice because it's one of the first games.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I don't think there's any chance they sit Riley Green because it's opening day and whatever, but he is left-handed, so there is the strengths of their lineup is left-handed. You know who's a lefty killer who's on their team, though?
Who are you going to say?
Well, they actually have 3 lefty killers on their team. Jake Rogers, lefty killer for pop perspective, but he's a catcher. He's going to hit at the bottom of the order. And, we're so fucking back, Nez, talking about Jake Rogers. Jake Rogers, lefty killer. Andy Ibanez, lefty killer. Mark Canna, lefty killer. 3 lefty killers on the Tigers. Love to see it.
Mark Hanna will probably play against righties too, so you don't have to worry about him getting pulled out. But yeah, man, we're so back. Jake Rogers in the first episode. I mean, it doesn't get more back than that.
Oh man, we're getting back to Jake Rogers stuff. We got the largest slate of the season, and we could stack Ohtani with Freeman in the BadgeBros brawl, and we're looking for ways to get to Andy Ibanez and Jake Rogers.
128 WRC plus against lefties, man. You're gonna want some Jake Rogers, let me tell you.
There you go, 128 WRC plus. There you go. That's basically Mike Trout.
that is modern day Mike Trout.
Oh my gosh, so good. Yeah, this is good stuff to note. Eric saying Tigers game might be the coldest on the slate. That's a really good shout. Ball doesn't travel in certain ballparks this time of year. Always be mindful of Cleveland early in the year, the Chicago games early in the year, Detroit early in the year, big ballparks where balls don't travel that well. Good nugget there.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one for the old White Sox, let me tell you.
Let's talk about it from the starting pitcher perspective. Nez, are you scared that anyone's going to be limited? Are there guys that you want to get over the field on in your kind of like punt pitcher mold? Or are you putting pitcher near the top of your board because there's some guys that you like?
I do have favorites. Sorry, I had to switch my hat off for a second, man. The backwards fitted cap was crushing my cranium. and I could feel the blood getting thin to my brain, so I had to switch it off for something a little more loose. Pitchers I like. We talked about Screwball. I love Screwball. I think he has, one like SP1 out range of outcomes pretty
Okay.
easily against this White Sox team. I like Gallen a lot as well. He and Screwball are like my most drafted pitchers at this moment. I've only done maybe 20 so far in
Okay.
total. And it's been a lot of Gallen, a lot of Screwball. Castillo at home against the Red Sox. I mean, dude, there's just so many good options. I mean, you can't go wrong, and it's hard to justify taking a pitcher. Really, like, I mean, if you have a favorite and you're stacking somebody that isn't going to be drafted a lot, like, and you just rather get your pitcher first, like, no problem. But
Mhm.
more often than not, man, you can just wait a pitcher.
Okay. Is there any notion for you to take the double bubble leverage and flip it on its head and take some contrarian pitchers like Justin Seal versus, the Rangers who are going to be highly drafted, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't gain a ton,
Yeah.
but if you have a
That's kind of what I
hunch,
wanted you to say.
yeah, no, you don't gain a ton. But
Yeah.
if you have
I
a
don't
hunch
think
and you want to play it that way, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think it's the slate for it. I mean, I think you can do some stuff like that in some better conditions, better spots versus inferior opponents like later on when you get like a watered down version of their lineup on like a Wednesday getaway day where they're playing two catchers, one at the DH and blah blah blah. And it's like, everyone's scared because it's the Rangers on paper, but it's not actually the Rangers we're accustomed to. So, yeah.
I think Pate
Ooh,
is suggesting that I'm shaving points over here.
with your bucket?
I, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, what are the odds that I switch hats mid-show? I mean, no wonder the odds were so huge there. People are odds makers are going to be breaking down my door.
I don't even remember which hat you had on before.
It was my backwards fitted hat. It was
Oh, that's why.
yeah, but I was going for the Fred Durst look, but it was just so, oh my gosh, so constricting, man. I think
Did
it's
you
back.
listen to Limp Bizkit when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, not around my parents, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was listening to Nookie and break
Yeah.
shit. Like, I thought that was Mozart.
Give me something to break.
Yeah,
Man,
have
we
you
used
ever
to
seen
listen to that stuff in the dressing room when we were kids and stuff. Parents would walk by the dressing room and just like shake their head.
don't act like you're that much older than me, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, hot dog flavored water.
Oh my
What was
god.
the other one? Chocolate starfish, something
Yeah.
like that. Chocolate starfish, and yeah. Oh, Cameron's gonna be at opening day there for the Bo Sox Mariners. Love that. I actually went. My last opening day I was at was Bo Sox Mariners. That was 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. That's the last opening day that I went to. Chris Sale was going that day. I
I've
remember.
never been to an opening day, I don't think.
Oh man, opening day hits different. I mean, Pacific Northwest, it's a little chilly when they leave the roof open, and they like to push the pace and leave the roof open for the aesthetic. It's a
Yeah.
little chilly for like a night game, but I mean, nothing beats just seeing those like red, white, and blue banners draped, all the way around. I mean, I probably playoff games beat that, or All Star game beats that, but it's
Sure.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I would love to be there. There's a reason why they're so expensive. But yeah, one day I'll definitely get there. But it's yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Totally jealous. Have fun, man.
Yeah. Yeah, opening day at Coors, that'd be nice. Yeah, that's sweet. There you go. Yeah, can't wait for this is the showdown that everyone's talking about. Frankie Montas versus Josiah Gray there. That is we're talking all about this and we see that the Reds are chalk on one side. I mean, you bet your ass I'm gonna have a little CJ Abrams, Lane Thomas, Ruiz little stack on the other side. Maybe Joey Gallo hits a couple tanks up into that second deck at a Great American Small Park. You want some contrarian stacks? That's a fun one right now.
Dude, that's a good one. It's a good one. I'm stoked for CJ Abrams. I've really came back around on him this draft season and started to take him more as I was finishing up my my dinger drafts. I'm always trying to get you to draft him because because you got to get him. You got to get him, man. He's awesome. I think he's going to kind of break his projection a little bit. I hope. And this is a great start against the Reds.
Tuma had a really interesting tweet yesterday players with 20 home runs and 40 steals in their first big league season, I think it was, right? Something like that. And it was like
Hell
Mike
of a
Trout.
list.
Yeah, it was like Mike Trout, Acuna, maybe Fernando Tatis Jr., and then CJ Abrams. Like those are the only guys who did that in their first year. And maybe Bobby Witt was on it, something like that. I'm butchering it.
It's
But
a
you guys
great
can,
list. It's a good
it's a
list to be on.
great list that CJ Abrams was on. Yeah.
Yeah, big fan of him.
Yeah. That's a fun little one. Let's talk about some other scroll the F downs and contrarian stacks here that you've been getting to or intend to get to, Nez, because I mean, as much as I love the spot versus Josiah Gray and Great American Small Park, just stacking Will Benson and Jake Fraley over and over again doesn't feel that great.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
And I think their ADPs sort of indicate that somewhat. I mean, like, yeah, they're being drafted because like they stack, but definitely not like if they were good and having this matchup. So I don't see myself getting there a ton, to be honest. I have one Jake Fraley team so far. Let me see who else I'm getting to here. Just my exposures are loading. I think you can do some contrarian royal stuff. They're like the poster boy for like contrarian stacks.
Okay.
Lopez is obviously a great pitcher, but they've got Vinny P there. We know that Michael Garcia is going to hit leadoff. Like it's not going to be done a ton, and probably maybe for good reason. But like Witt and Vinny P at a minimum, I think is like a fun contrarian like duo to pair together in these drafts. They're not going to be. It's not going to be done very often.
Yeah, I think Witt will primarily be used as a one-off. That was kind of like the notion last year. Obviously, not a great place to hit, and it's pretty effing cold in Minnesota. So just be mindful of those two things. But yeah, if you're gonna do a little bit of Witt, why not pair it with some Vinny P or Miguel Garcia might be leading off, something like that.
And yeah, and then on the flip side, like Easy saying, the
Yeah.
Twins too against Reagans, who throws really hard, but like throw hard, get hit hard, and with Royce and Buxton, I mean, you can do a lot with this team. I'm excited to get to the Twins this season, but this is like a fun contrarian spot to do it. Like you see the ADPs, that should tell you really all you need to know. They're not being drafted very often.
Yeah. And as bullish as we are on like Cole Reagans and what we saw for the tail half of last year, when you look at like the proven starters on opening day slate, I mean, he's kind of at the bottom echelon of the names.
Yeah, it's just if you were to line it up with like best ball ADP, yeah, he'd probably be definitely below, outside of the top 6, I think.
Yeah. No,
Which they're only
I'm in
drafting 6
lockstep with you
pitchers.
there. Any thought to the fact that some of these pitchers will be on their second start? Does it matter to you at all that Glasnow and Darvish are on their second versus other guys being on their first? Or do you just look at it as like extension of spring training?
Yeah, I'm not really worried about that. If anything, I think that's a good thing, right? They kind
Okay.
of have one start under their belt.
No, I didn't mean it
So
as a worrisome thing. Did I phrase it that way? I meant it like as a bullish thing that they're more ramped up to go longer.
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I think you can definitely take that as a positive, especially given these matchups. It'll be interesting to see what kind of Cardinals team that we get this season. But Glass now on any given slate at home against the Cardinals, you mentioned shooting for upside. There's so much upside in him. It's hilarious that he is SP2 to Shane Bieber. Like that is so fun and so
Yeah.
wrong.
That is so wrong. I mean, even if it is the A's in Oakland.
Who has a sneaky like good lineup is the Giants.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I mean, it's never a park that you want to get to. Both San Francisco and San Diego, neither one are like big hitting ones. We've talked ad nauseum throughout the Dinger season there that they haven't had a 30 home run hitter in almost forever. But like, I don't know, why not a little Wilmer Flores hitting fourth there, Soler mixed in, Estrada compiling some stuff at the top of that lineup.
I mean, just hype them in for a minute here. I mean, the lefties that we have here against Darvish are plenty. I'm gonna get me some Lamont Wade Jr.
Yeah,
Yastrzemski, sign me up. Jung Hoo Lee lead off, yes sir. I'm excited to to get the Giants have won me so many battle royales in years past that I'm just excited to run back the formula.
Yeah, because nobody likes getting to the Giants, and their day-to-day lineup is just like so hard to project. But when you do have a righty on there, you know that they're prone to go lefty heavy. Who do you think? Did you say you think Jung Ho Lee leads off?
Yeah, I thought that was the plan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Russell Resource has the same thing. Jung Ho Lee leading off. They have Lamont Wade Jr. hitting third against a righty there. Chapman hitting four. Interesting. Not what I envisioned in my mind, to be honest, but it checks out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is that big enough to see?
They mixed things up. It was hard. I had to move my face in a little bit to get a good look at that.
You got to tell me to zoom because that means the viewers can't.
I forgot to use. I know. I forgot to use my words. Yeah, but the lefties for the Giants, I think, are always fun. Yeah, they're prone to get pulled, like you mentioned, but I'm gonna do it, man, because nobody does it. Nobody. That's one thing that I learned quickly is like when the Giants would win, I'm like, I never would have thought in a million years to draft the Giants, and that still holds true today. Darvish is a good pitcher, so like nobody is gonna want to do this again for this. So yeah, and like Easy mentions, it's not Gabe Kapler anymore, so it could be a change of plans.
Yeah, that was always the fear, especially when we would play like the Dinger After Dark stuff, like those short slate ones that we would be like, oh yeah, it's awesome that Austin Slater's leading off against a lefty, but he only has 2 at bats to homer and be relevant because he's getting the quick hook. So yeah, maybe they won't get pulled in the same capacity, the mix and match that we were accustomed to last year. Nez, any other like teams, random players we want to bring up? We'll do more of this on Thursday morning when we actually have lineups, when we actually have some projections to work off of. But any like, price point stuff that you see as like super wrong, I would throw out that like there are first round caliber hitters that are in, quote unquote bad matchups, but almost everybody's in a bad matchup that just, they go underdrafted or underappreciated, right? Like Fernando Tatis Jr. has a ceiling to break a slate, and he's got a 30s ADP. Same with Corey Seager. Yep. Same with Julio Rodriguez. Like a bunch of these guys that go super late that if you just wanted to get overweight because they're very talented baseball players who can score a lot of points, I could not fault you.
Exactly. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, man. It's a big slate, and this happens a lot in baseball where we're dealing with big ass slates, and it's just like talent aplenty. It is what it is. I mean, look at these names that we're queuing up. Like, you can do this and build a team like this, and don't dupe me, bro. But this is a great team, and it's best player available. These are first and second round picks in the Dinger, and you could get this right now if you wanted it. You could do this right now. It's crazy, man. This is if you can't say it enough. You can do so many different things in baseball. You can do whatever you want. Now, I would suggest building all your lineups like this because you do want to stack at that like absurd clip, in my opinion. But like that is such a fun team to put together just for the hell of it.
Right. Yeah. And it's like these are guys that we've drafted in the first 2 rounds of Dingers all off season, and now they're pushed in the deep 30s, and you can have them over and over again if you want it. Right.
Yeah. It's awesome.
All you have to do is go back to last year's opening day and just go look at the leaderboard and what happened on that day. The infamous RT99 day where he just took Adam Duvall in 50 lineups of it. Adam Duvall homered twice or 3 times.
It was, I don't even know, man. It was the most ridiculous day. It wasn't opening day. It was definitely, I don't know if you said that. It was like one of the,
it was like opening week. It was in and around that time.
Yeah. And it was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that.
And he scooped an entire, 45 out of the top 50 spots, because that's the value of the scroll the F down in baseball. Is the scroll the F down can actually be a really good play, like a first round pick, like Fernando Tatis, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's same scenario.
Pitch asking how many hitters on the same team you're comfortable stacking. I will do 5-man onslaughts, absolutely. But it's circumstance and team dependent. I think the majority of my builds gravitate to be 2-stack, 1 off, 2-stack, or 3 twos. That's what I kind of gravitate. What about you, Nez?
I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I tend to stay away from the 5-man onslaughts. Usually doing like 4 and 1. If I'm like at most. So I guess to answer that question, how many? I think 5, but I'm more often doing 4 with the onslaught, especially if it's on a gigantic slate. Like maybe save the 5s for smaller slates, but yeah, I mix and match a ton. I'll do a pair and 3 1-offs. I'll do 2-2-1s. Like I mix it up all the time.
Yeah, and just be aware that like when the guys come in and they do 4-man stacks or they do 5-man stacks correlated like that, that most people build them the exact same way. They'll take the SP1 on the slate and then they'll just auto draft hitters 1 through 5. There's ways to differentiate that by throwing in a one-off bat, by doing hitters, 2 through 6 and leaving the leadoff hitter out, or doing, just little things like that. Because even if you do smash like Oakland 5-man stack and you pair it with Tyler Glass now because you're not going to do it with Bieber, that team is 100% going to be duped in a 9,000 person contest.
100%. There, you do want to be smart about how you do those.
Absolutely. Hey, Run Good Rick, there he is. We give you a shout off the top there, but first time I saw the Kiwi Cat pop up in the chat. Congrats on the big 8K win in NBA last night. Love to see it. Nez, what do you say we rip a draft of the 6-person variety?
It's time.
It is time. Main slate, just the 3-bagger Thursday. 3 more spots.
I'm doing my part in these side contests to get them filled and get them going. Doing a lot of like queuing up and then just like making a stack that I kind of want. Moving on to the next draft. The plan is push, of course, and just repeating that process over and over in the what's the early one called? Extra innings.
Right. Yeah, extra innings.
Yeah, so if you want to face me in the extra innings, I've got like 15 left in the hopper, even more than that right now. So you can try to figure out what I'm stacking in there.
I got confused by the extra innings name because extra innings usually come after the 9th inning, not before. But I understand why Neumy went with the extra innings because it's an extra 3 games on the slate. But those 3 games are normally after there.
I know.
He pushes the plane. Let's look through a couple here. I'm just curious what we got here. So Cubs, as you alluded to, Bellinger's an outfielder. Morel is an infielder. If you're going to stack Cardinals versus Glass now as a contrarian stack, they do not have very many outfield options, just to be mindful of. It's Jordan Walker. I don't think Scott is in the player pool who's going to start in center field. Dylan Carlson's going to go to the IL. There was one I thought of, as we mentioned, Langford. So if you're stacking Texas, just be mindful that it's basically going to revolve around one of these 2 outfielder options in Adolis and Evan Carter. Any other ones you were thinking of, Nez?
Am I muted? No, I'm not. Good. Nope. No. I think that was a pretty good point.
Okay. Ketel Marte and Christian Walker, lefty killers.
Absolute Kyle Freeland
killers against Kyle Freeland.
Jeez, man.
Henry. Oh, here, Blake's got another one. Henry Davis not in the pool yet. Thank you, Blake.
He is.
Oh, he isn't? Oh, he's just Henry Davis is in the pool, but he's as an infielder as his catcher designation.
Yeah, he'll be in for the rest of the contest.
Why don't we start this off with a bang and scroll the F down in the first round?
Yeah, that's easy peasy, man. You can even take this further once it comes back to us. They're fun to stack against lefties.
Yeah, like Gurriel, that kind of thing. Montero, getting cheeky with
Eugenio Suarez.
Eugenio Suarez hits tanks. You don't think he wants to impress for his new ball club?
Come on now, opening day Eugenio is a different beast.
That's true. Remind everybody why Jordan Lawler should be in the minors.
That's right.
Keep his job, make his money.
What are you sipping on there? Is that a little vitamin water?
Dude, Nikki's dad works for Coca-Cola and he's retiring soon. And he just got like a huge stash of leftover vitamin water. So my fridge is just littered with them right now. So I'm just sucking them back, trying to get rid of this sore throat still.
Gotta love vitamin water.
I haven't had one in years, to be honest, until right now.
I'll never forget when they first came out. It was it's a big deal. Everyone, like they really did trick people into thinking that was like a healthy drink. Like
yeah. Kind of like Prime, no? Isn't the same vibe?
Prime's not like a health drink. Prime advertises itself as like this is for kids and it's gonna give you energy type of deal.
Got it.
Blake brings up a good point. 115 viewers. That is quite a bit for baseball.
Yeah, that might be a baseball record.
If you like baseball, hit a like. If you don't, then still hit a like.
Yeah, if it's your first time hanging. Yeah, first time hanging out, hit that like, that subscribe, that notification, that follow. We got an X account. We got personal X accounts there that you can go follow up. And we do this Monday through Friday. 2 of the streams are behind the paywall for our members only. And then the other 3 are Underdog Daily and officially sponsored by the platform of the people, Underdog Fantasy.
That was a great ad read voice, man. I know you've been practicing that.
Yeah. All right. We are seeing Easy got a little Yankees thing going on. Ellie De La Cruz, a pitcher. Julio Rodriguez falling in line with ADP. What do we say we do a Zach Gallen correlated starter?
Okay.
A little wins equity there.
I'm into it. I like Gallen. He's one of my favorite pitchers on this slate.
Okay.
And then how many do you want to do? 1 or 2 teammates with these two, or any at all?
Tell me that, Pen.
On what?
Anything you want.
I think Eugenio Suarez. Like, I think I don't think anybody's really including him in their stacks.
All right. Let's do it.
And he should be in a pretty decent spot in the lineup for them. He's not a like bottom of the order hitter. He's got some pop.
I know how we land this plane right now.
Okay.
I got it. But we can have a combo about it.
All right. Let's go ahead and just let's just start pissing yellow here for a minute so we can get an idea of who, because we only have outfield left. So
yeah, but I don't want to give away the plan.
We can't just look at them. That's all we have left.
Okay, we can look at it. Christian Encarnacion Strand, 158 in the dinger, 20th in our heart on opening day.
Crazy. That's I know, man. It's the power of great. And what will be funny is if that flops, then like all the Reds will be free tomorrow.
Yep. Naturally.
And who are they even going to get? Is it going to be like Patrick Corbin too? Like
50 Cent made $100 million. I was 50 Cent made $100 million in vitamin water.
Yeah, did you not know that?
Crazy. No, I knew it was him, but
yeah,
that's crazy.
That's hilarious.
It is hilarious. You see Tarkus on the end there do that little Minnesota thing. So a one-off Carroll, double Houston, double Minnesota, like that a lot. We see a Houston, a one-off Bobby Witt here, and a Mookie Betts. See a little backdoor. There's that Benson Fraley that's going to be done over and over again with Ellie.
Yeah, I mean, it's the chalk is very obvious as far as like our contest, but like there are really great stacks that are just not being taken enough. It's
right,
kind of wild.
And I'm about to hit everybody over the head with one of them.
Yeah,
a guy who's had an absolute insane spring.
I'd say that about a lot of guys. Who is he thinking of?
Okay, I was going to do Cubs, and I was going to do Seiya and Hap.
Yeah.
Do you like that more than Lane Thomas plus Joey Meneses?
Yeah.
Or one-offs?
I like the
Or
Cubs one more.
okay. Do you want to do Seiya with Belly or Seiya with Hap?
Belly.
Okay. Belly will be higher owned, but we already got pretty unique with the Eugenio Suarez in there. So we build ourselves a nice little 3-2 amongst the hitters, and then a little bit of correlation, not a ton, but a little bit of correlation by tacking on your pitcher there, because if your hitters go hard, um, you know, he's going to be in a position, better position to tack on those 2 points for a win. So slight correlation boost.
It's
Nothing
not
too
negative,
crazy.
that's for sure.
It's not negative. It's not negative.
Unless they do poorly.
Yeah. CPAT to the Steelers, Arthur Smith, baby.
2-year deal.
Oh.
2 years, not 1.
2 years. Oh my god.
Who needs CPAT for 2 years? I mean, I guess he's going to
Jeez.
return kicks. They've never had a good kick returner. They saw the new kick return rules and said, "Oh, we need Cordero Patterson right now." So actually, smart move again. You guys are not smart. Steelers are so cool and so brave.
Oh, Nez.
It's the truth.
Oh, the spin zone is incredible.
You know what else is great about the Steelers?
What's up?
Russ on a 1-year deal. 2025. Dak Prescott is a free agent. Interesting.
Oh my god, you're already galbrating Dak to the Steelers next year.
That's crazy. Who would have thought?
Yeah, the Warren Paulino saying the Warren chairs are dead. Here you go. Imagine Devin Hester in this return environment. The returns are good for football, man. I think it's really fun. I know people don't like change, but
they don't. But
yeah.
This is a good change. I like it.
What do I hit to refresh? F4 or F5?
F5.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Bless your heart. All right, there it is. Our first main in the books. We had a badged up room, smart room here. But these are the patterns and these are the things that you're going to see emerge as you draft, right? Like, we did a contrarian scroll down by taking Walker at 7 and Eugenio Suarez at 19, then a contrarian double stack to finish it off, but still could be, duped. Glue Eater stayed well within the kind of ADP range of the player pool here and didn't stack. It was just kind of looks like his ranks auto draft easy with a smart, 2 Yankees hitters. Glaber going to hit adjacent to them. Muncy probably hits 4th or 5th, and Shohei probably hits 3rd. So,
but he ruined it. That was a beautiful stack, but he ruined it.
Oh, with Jesus Luzardo going to get shelled by your Pirates, right?
Yeah, like hello, was that a misclick? That had to have been a timeout.
Then you see Holding the Rock do a little Jordan plus Bregman. Then he uses the Bobby Witt as the one-off, as we said. And then Mookie Betts with Will Smith. Will Smith probably going to hit. I imagine he hits 4th, but don't definitively know there. Do you agree?
He's going to be in a favorable position. He's a great pick. I mean, we were worried about Will Smith in best ball, but when he plays, he is like that good. Like he's one of the best hitters in baseball. It's kind of crazy. So that's a great pick by Holding the Rock.
Absolutely. And then Tarkus here with the Houston thing, plus the Minnesota with one-off Arizona, and then he correlates the Pablo Lopez in the same capacity as we put our pitcher there. So yeah, man, just a bunch of sharp, smart builds that are all different that could all find their way home.
Yeah, I will say, man, if Corbin Carroll's the 101, I'm not going to get any Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, lefty 101, not your vibe?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, he hits lefties okay, but he didn't have a ton of pop, if I remember correctly, versus lefties last year. Like, it took him a while to get his first home run versus a lefty. Yeah,
it's just like, it's Corbin Carroll, but on a slate this big, there's just matchups that I would rather prioritize. But it's a good team, man. Every team looks good. He did a good draft. I'm not trying to completely poo on this guy's draft here, but I'm just saying Corbin Carroll 101 seems aggressive.
Gotcha. All right. That's to say, you want to rip another one of those? Do you want to try and fill one of the 12-person ones, or do you want to?
Let's see if we can fill a cycle.
Okay. Let's see if we can fill a cycle here, guys. They're kind of finicky to find all right now because there's so many baseball things, which
Mhm.
is a good problem to have. All right, $10 cycle, 27 max entries here. Only 4 more, 3 more to
They
fill
found it quicker than
this
you. You
cycle.
almost
Yeah,
got in
they
your own overflow, which wouldn't have been the first time.
Yeah. I've created so many overflows by just
But first, let's look at the slate. But
we're about to jump in a cycle right
get in there if you want to
now,
draft. You
but
need to draft right now. Hurry up, press enter. But first, let's just take a look at this other slate just for one quick second.
yeah, but I forgot about the reverse splits I want to check out over here on the Savant page.
Are there really 12 red badges in this?
Let's see. 12 red
Wow.
badges. You love to see it.
Wow, what a bunch of
We got
nerds, man.
G Strat and Raise It, and we got Noah in here, Glue Eater again, Easy's in here, Dark Sheep. Holy shit. We got the Dog Bowl champ.
That's right.
Bunch of nerds. Bunch of nerds.
All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I need to use a rest. I'm not going to make it through this this cycle, and I need to.
All right.
You need my help.
I do. This player pool is so deep. I think Toronto might be kind of sneaky. We saw that little stack in our very first BadgeBros brawl and kind of glossed over it. I can't remember who did it from the 3-hole there, but the right-handed Toronto, I mean, traditionally not a great place to hit in Tampa Bay, and Willie Adamas has been really outspoken about how he was a bad hitter there because of the batter's eye and whatever. It's not a friendly place for guys to go in and hit, but just in terms of like matchups on opening day, like there's no reason that a bunch of Toronto sticks can't get loose, get squishy on it. Ellie Day of the Cruz goes first. Mookie Betts, shout out to Neumy Mookie. Yeah, the John Rugg pull. There he is. Yeah, wait for John to get the hit with the location detection. That's every time. That's so spot on. Yeah, full milk the clock so Nez could get back and help me. Please. All right, par for the course. I think the two things you'll notice in the cycle over the course of the season is there'll be slightly more emphasis on pushing up some starting pitcher on certain days because there'll be like opening day is a slate in of itself, but like throughout the year, there'll be a clear defining line with some of the starters in these 12-person drafts comparative to the 6-person drafts, just because like the drop off will be so large. And the other thing will be outfield scarcity. Outfield scarcity will run itself parallel to the dinger drafts more so than the 6-person drafts do. But I think you're pretty fine punting pitcher in the cycle on opening day. Are you back? He's back.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking and I'm muted. Yeah, agreed.
All right, who do you like, Nez?
Oh boy, we can. I mean, it's hard. Like, it's hard not to want to start at Christian Walker. But do you have like a contrarian stack that you think that you want to go to first? I like Altuve as well. Kind of mentioned the Astros earlier, even though Dark Sheep just started on.
Let's do it. Christian Walker's hitting 2 tanks on opening day.
Just feels good.
Kyle Freeland, doesn't he?
I think so. It just feels right. Where do you thinking about Rangers against Justin Steele?
I mean, I think it's kind of hard if Langford's hitting third. I don't think he will. I think he'll probably hit a bit further down. But the strength of that lineup will be determined whether Jung and Seager are ready to go. If they're not, then the stack becomes pretty limited and pretty routinely done over and over again. Because it'll be Simeon and Adolis over and over again. And I want maybe a little bit of Evan Carter, but not so much in that matchup. And yeah, I think it's really hinging upon whether they're good to go. But honestly, probably like it's like Rangers, Astros, Yankees, Dodgers, Braves. You can get to them every single day just because they're those teams. Like, I'll never fault you for getting to them. It won't be like a spot that I'm like, yo, I want to attack this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, we got Christian Walker. Who do you like next?
Marte's off the board, right? Or no?
Yeah. Should we just do the Suarez thing again?
Right now? What do you think about Tatis?
Sure. You do Tatis. I mean, Webb isn't fun for anyone, but it's Fernando Tatis.
Just like getting a little scrolling down, even in something like this, just like, I mean, it's Tatis, right? Like who cares what his ADP is?
Yeah. You'll see projection models will come out and he'll always project well and be pushed up anyways.
Yeah. I am curious to see what the models are going to favor the most, and it seems like it's just going to be overwhelmingly Cincinnati. But I wonder, what's like the team that is going to be like the most shocking to see project well?
Yeah. I think on the full slate, like Cardis will absolutely be smashing Brewers on the 15 game. So Bad
Against
X
Quintana,
yeah, Bad X will be smashing Brewers and will be smashing Arizona and Reds. Yeah.
For sure.
Aren't you worried, Nez? Aren't you worried?
Hell no.
100 people watching, less than 100 likes. Thank you, Chipsy. Yes, please and thank you. Take a second out of your day. Yeah, take a second out of your day and help that algorithm boost us up. Trying to hang out every day and draft teams on Underdog with our friends. A little G-Loft. There you go. We could do a little G-Loft in this one.
Want to make this one an ace stack? Let's go.
G-Loft,
better get them
Noda,
quick. They're going to fly off the board.
Brent Rooker.
Hell yeah.
I'm not opposed.
I'm going to have a little bit of Noda on like every slate, I think. How can you not?
There's a slightly cheaper version of Noda. His name's Seth Brown.
Oh, he's cheaper, all right. In every way.
I still wish he went to the Phillies and played first base last year, but they must have known. They must have known that they were going to get Harper to play first base.
Yeah.
There you go. You see Raise It go with the CJ Abrams route there. So same game environment, but other side of it.
Yeah, man, I love that play.
Yeah, slightly worse matchup versus Montas, but man, we haven't seen Montas pitch in a big league game in a minute, right?
I mean, he pitched a little bit last year, I think, right?
Like barely.
Yeah,
I want to say he had like 10 underdog points or something like that before he got hurt for the Yankees.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean the Nats too, like stacking the Nats is it's tough. I mean, like you mentioned Gallo. Yeah. Gallo's probably gonna I wonder what roster resource says, because I wonder if I'm gonna be a little more bullish on his spot in the lineup than they are. Let's see.
Okay, let me guess. Let me guess what roster resource says. Okay. Wait, who are they facing? They're facing Montas.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It is. Well, I would have Lane Thomas lead off, but they're not going to. They're going to have CJ Abrams lead off. So It's going to be Abrams, Lane Thomas, Meneses, Ruiz, Gallo.
Close. Winker third. This is them. I mean, roster resource.
They got Winker. Wow.
Then Meneses, then Gallo.
And then Ruiz hitting sixth?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you know who's seventh, right?
Well, it should be, if he was healthy, the king himself, lefty killer Stone Garrett, but it's not.
Why would it be him? Montas isn't Montas a righty?
Yeah, I know. I just mean like it should be him. Like I think he should play every day.
Oh, well, it's our other boy, Eddie Rosario.
Oh wow, yeah. Holy smokes.
I can talk myself
Wow.
into it.
Dude, are
150
we
entries?
we're drafting Nats on the first day of the season?
150 entries, man. Well, on here it's 27 for the cycle. I don't want to make you do that, but come on, man. I can get crazier than that.
Hey, coming from a straight projection bro, Jordan saying that he thinks Washington's where the projection bros will go.
Unredacted,
shout out to you.
Sure.
Yeah, shout out to you for the second place finish in the hoop streets last night. I forgot a plan already, Nez. Suarez?
We didn't really have one.
Okay.
I'm on Vlad against Eflin.
Well, I said that I kind of liked the Toronto thing. Let's do the Toronto thing.
Like, why not?
While you were gone, I said I kind of liked the Toronto contrarian.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, it's definitely contrarian, right? Everybody likes Eflin, but hey, the projection said that Blue Jays is going to be the truth. I didn't say it. The projections did.
Yep. I mean, Vlad always projects well in Bad X.
I know.
You ready going with a little Seattle thing starting there?
Oh, he's trying to he's playing to the host.
He's buttering my bread right now.
That's what I love that. Man. He knows what he's doing
Dark
damn
Sheep,
well.
Dark Sheep all pissed off because Easy set up the Texas stuff immediately after he took Corey Seager.
Not his fault. It's a great stack.
His fault.
See, I mean, is Bo your next pick?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Good Boys in the chat right there.
Get him up.
Get him up. Get your Mr. Good
There's
Boys
Torque.
up.
I like the Torque pick. Teoscar's a nice one, too, from Keurig.
Yeah, this little cheeky other side of Dodgers. Like, you'll see stuff like this in the 12 persons a decent amount. Devers.
Ooh, he's getting a little game. He's got a game stack going.
Game stack. Yeah. All right. You want to do Bo and Springer? Get this playing.
I want to do Bo at least.
Okay.
Probably Springer.
Let's do Bo. Let's do Bo and then figure it out.
Yeah. We got options.
We certainly do.
Got a lot of options.
Little Varsho to close it out. Good boys, baby.
Do you think we can do Mitch Keller at pitcher? Or can I get you to get to Mitch against the Marlins? They're not that good.
No, they're not. You're right. Although I did tune into to a little Twitch stream for a little bit there, Easy versus Neumy, and the Josh Bell had a nice stroke on him today.
Oh, Josh Bell hitting second. Wow.
So okay, they got Arias leading off, then they got Bell, and then they got Chisholm, then Berger.
Berger, then Chisholm is what they have.
Berger, then Chisholm.
Yeah. So that way, like, Berger kind of breaks up the righty lefty.
Do they still have Stalling as their catcher?
No, they have Christian Bethancourt.
Oh yeah, they traded for Bethancourt. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was Fortes last year. Sorry, that was the lefty killer we played in.
He must not be on a team.
Fortes won me a slate last year. Do you remember that?
Oh my God, he did.
Yeah.
He was in Colorado, right?
He won me a Coors slate last year.
Holy
shit.
He's
the only guy to draft Fortes.
That's so funny because there will be slates where it's like the Dodgers against like the worst pitcher, like Jose Urena. I know he's not on Colorado anymore, but there will be slates where it's Dodgers versus Urena, and the Dodgers just flop like shit. And then you have your Nick Fortes slates.
Yeah, it's so funny.
So tilting.
Nobody can get grosser than me at Coors, baby.
It's not possible.
I can't wait for never Coors and never Dodgers slates. Oh, you love it.
Dude, it's gonna be a real talking point. Like everybody, like it's crazy what people do on Coors slates. It's understandable, but it's crazy. And there's so much leverage into not doing it.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, no, I agree, man. So happy to be back. This is the good stuff right here. I love the fact that we're multi-sport athletes on this platform because like as much as I love, football's king, we get that. Drafting best ball is the best for season-long football. It just the speculation of it, the news drops, the cycle of it, the elongated cycle, like it's perfect for best ball. Like it's just the way the offseason is perfect for best ball. But man, there is nothing like talking a little baseball with your boys.
Doesn't get better. Doesn't get better. And Raise it kind of laying the playbook for what I'm excited to do. Get some Cruz Hayes stacks. I am nervous about Cruz against a lefty. I don't know that I'm going to do Cruz in these Pirates builds, but Ke'Bryan Hayes, absolutely. Little Kutch, absolutely. Davis, you already know.
Hayes and Davis as like a little back stack. That's kind of fun too.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be getting to quite a bit.
Yeah, one thing I would say just to everybody, I know you've been drafting your dingers and whatever, go through the rankings, familiarize yourself with the player pool, just so the positional designation, when you're stuck on the clock, you can like audible quickly if you get sniped and stuff.
Yeah, definitely familiarize yourself.
All right. George Springer, Varsho.
Pablo Lopez just sitting here is crazy.
You want it? Do you want Lopez instead of the Mitch Keller thing?
No, let's do Gurriel. Let's do Gurriel.
I don't want to do Gurriel.
Okay.
Let's do Lopez.
What's wrong with Pablo Lopez, right? Against the Twins?
Yeah, I think that game's going to be, I don't know. Yeah.
Cold weather?
Yeah, game's a little bit colder. I don't know. It would obviously be worse in Minnesota than it is in Cincy, but yeah.
What is the weather in KC like?
Here's the deal. If Gurriel comes back, I'll do it.
Nice day. You don't have to. I think
I wanted to do Springer and do this as a 3-1-1.
Yeah, that's fine.
The thought being that like Springer will be less owned, the 3 stack will be less owned. I mean, we could do it with Varsho and it'll be even more contrarian.
Yeah, Varsho got scratched for a personal reason, and so I think he's going to be okay for opening day.
That's a good nugget, though. Just to know.
Yeah.
What? Okay. You think Alejandro Kirk hits 4th tomorrow?
It won't matter. He's an infielder, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just curious. Like, just
I hope
through the lineup. You think Justin Turner hits 4th?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Justin Turner's an outfielder in this. Let's see. Familiarize ourselves with the player pool.
5, which that'll play. It wouldn't be Kiermaier. Right?
No. Varsho's got a Q tag.
Yeah, for that personal scratch.
I'm warming up to this. I know Eflin pitched well last year, but like, you know, when you're splitting hairs about like weaker pitchers to target on the slate, like in the same capacity that we said Cole Reagans can get hit, he's one little step, down below those aces.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
make the call for me, bro.
I think you just do George Springer.
All right.
I think that's pretty elite. Just do the top big 3 and get yourself a nice little comfy contrarian, but like chalk at the same time stack.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to have an opening day slate where the pitching, in my opinion, isn't that crazy.
It's not.
We've grown accustomed to in years past, like a slate like this would have had Scherzer, Strider, DeGrom, like some of these big like 10K upside guys who could just shut it down and matter on a slate. I don't really feel that on this slate. Like this is a very good pitching slate, but it doesn't feel like it's opening day pitching for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel you. It's weird. Especially because opening day, you just know you're not going to get like 100 pitches out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of takes a little bit of the shine off it.
Yeah, and like in years past, you'd have Kershaw and Rodon and Cole and,
it's a changing of the guard, I guess.
Yeah.
Plus Cole being hurt really stinks.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like you look at this one and it's just kind of like, huh, interesting. There's no real spot I'm like super scared is gonna get shut down. Like even Glasnow to me is just like I could see him get hit by like Goldschmidt and Arenado. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, these
Like,
guys are so like prone to hard hits
right.
that the guys that just pumped 100. I could totally see Glass now getting shelled. It's
Yeah. Maybe not
it's
shelled, but like, he could give up,
well, he's
two
getting
run
shelled.
homers or something. He gives up two run homers. Like, would anybody be surprised? Right.
Right.
It doesn't feel like like there you go. The Burns and the Striders, they're on the other slate.
Yeah, that
So
definitely adds to it for sure.
yeah.
It's Shane
DeGrom,
Bieber's not
Scherzer.
the SP1. That's all I know.
Yeah, right. It makes it feel like not like a crazy pitching heavy slate.
There's
And
great pitching, but yeah, no, I know what you mean though. It's just like weird. It's not that it's like we're getting old a little bit.
yeah, right. It does feel like we're getting a little old. All right, Nez, what'd you think about that one for us? We did oh shoot, where'd I go? Walker, he's kind of going to be like a staple for us. We put him on the cover for a reason. Noted lefty killer. Marte actually has better lifetime numbers for those who care about BVP. You could go ahead and look this stuff up there, but Ketel Marte absolutely kills against Kyle Freeland. Whether it matters or not, that's up to you.
Good to know.
It's just one of those things to know. Put it in your tool basket and move on, kind of thing, But I know a lot of people aren't, BVP guys. And hey, there you go. There's one right there. Dark sheep. Stop. No, man, we make content out here. Some guys you just see them better, man. You just see them better. I don't have stats for this.
It's funny. I like to know. It's not going to affect my drafting, but there you go. There's on it.
There we go.
I gotta get some lunch, man. That's tempo. My stomach is eating itself. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's definitely not a thing when half those stats are from Coors. That's a very fair point.
That's hilarious.
All right, last draft in the book there. We did a BadgeBros Brawl, we did the main contest, and then we did the cycle here, which is the 12 persons. Christian Walker, Fernando Tatis, and then a nice Toronto stack, which is low-key good contrarian spot, I think, going up against F1 comparatively to some of the other ones there. But, F1's pretty decent. Vlad, Bo, Springer, and then Pablo Lopez in that Kansas City matchup. Pumped for opening day. We are going to do a little bit of a watch party on Thursday. Those early games will be kind of starting as we are kind of airing. So we'll be watching on the side there. We're going to go live at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. And the first game starts at 1:10. So we'll kind of do like, we can't do like playback style where like we can watch together, but we'll do drafting for the main contest while the game's going on adjacent, sweating. We'll do some live pick'em stuff. We'll do some pick'ems for opening day for the main slate. It'll be fun. It'll be a draft party hangout. Maybe your boy will crack a cold one. Who knows?
Ooh, I might have to get a little frosty with you.
Trev asking he needs, if anyone has not done the solo shot yet,
get in there.
Three more for the solo shot. Go help Trev out and fill that one up. We're back tomorrow with Pete. Often on the clock, an hour to an hour and a half show, football adjacent, that will be taking place at 2 p.m. Eastern. I don't know. It's up in the YouTube.
I think so. Yeah, something like that. Typically 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll see, something like that.
Yeah, there we go. Any parting words, Ness?
I'll see you in the daily lobbies, not the dinger lobbies, but daily lobbies. I'm in there. Come find me.
There you go.
Extra innings, all that stuff.
Yep. If you want to draft with Nez, he will be in the dailies. If you want to draft with me, I will be in the next 10 dingers after I walk my dog. I'm going to try my best to make it to 100 here. Shout out to everyone who supported us today. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Hopefully we can keep pushing with baseball to be this popular going forward. Give us a like, a follow, subscribe there. And if you're not playing on Underdog Fantasy, use promo code MLB at sign up, and that's 100% match deposit up to 100 USD. I am John. That is Nez. And this is everybody's favorite time of the show. The end. Peace.